Thank you very much for that, Alistair. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank all you wonderful people for showing your support. We all know we've got jobs to do. We all know we've got things back at home that need doing. So I'd just like to say right at the very start, thank you so much. It is people power that changes things, and today the people are standing up once again to try and get some changes.
Yeah.
You know, a bit of time ago, I suppose a year and a half ago, a couple of years ago, they had this brilliant idea that they're going to bring in this ETS, which I thought was a dog and many others thought was a dog as well. And everybody said, oh, you can't do it. You can't change it. The numbers are against you. It's impossible. You know, you've got no hope. You've got no support. And all these statements of no hope and no support were beaten by resolution. By resolution that if you just stick to your guns and you persevere over a long period of time, you will win. It seems interesting that even when you do win, the first thing Mr. Rudd and Ms. Gillard want to do, first day back in this joint behind us, is they want to reintroduce the ETS because they don't care about the people anymore. They've evolved beyond the people. They're now a new type of being. So, all of a sudden we're starting to see that the Australian people are starting to say, look, we've had enough of being signed up to these agreements where you get the kudos of the camera and the happy clapping in Bali or some conference, but the bill goes home to the working family. The bill goes home to the family farm. The bill is recognised in that loss of property rights. We've had enough of that and it's got to stop. My message is once more back to the people, and it was down there in Magna Carta Place, back to the people, the good people of Sydney and the good people of Brisbane and the good people of Melbourne who supported us in stopping the ETS. We say to you that this is an injustice and an injustice must be dealt with. It is no good hiding behind legal technicalities. You must answer a very simple question. Is what happened to Peter Spencer? Is what happened to the people at Tottenham? Is what happened to people in the Brigalow Corporation? Who've been dealt with by the Brigalow Corporation? Is what's happened with the tree moratorium? Is that just or unjust? And I say to Mr. Rudd, I ask you a clear question. Mr. Rudd, you're an intelligent man. You tell us every day how intelligent you are. Mr. Rudd, answer this very simple question. Is what is presented to you here today a reflection of justice or injustice? Answer that question, Mr. Rudd. Is it a reflection of justice or injustice? And if you believe that it is injustice, you must do something about it.
Yeah.
Now, the principle is quite simple, and every person's mother and their father taught them this, that if you cannot afford to pay for an asset, you must not take it. You cannot have it. You cannot thieve things. Thieving is wrong, and that is what's happened to so many people. So the question is quite clear. If you can't pay for it, give it back.
That's right.
And I say to the state governments who brought this legislation in, and I acknowledge that the involvement of the Commonwealth in that process, I'm not hiding from that, but this is no good to have this, remember it's Mr. Rudd who says the buck stops with him. The buck stops with him.
That's right.
Well, Mr. Rudd, you've just welcome to the new rodeo ground of Australian politics. And we wanted to show us, Mr. Rudd, that this is the Australian people once more standing up and saying, you know, you've got to get off your jet and get home and start dealing with the problems. Mr. Rudd waving to us from the stairs of his VIP. I want to see him waving to us as he goes out about 60 kilometres by the crow flies from the back of this building. I want to see him waving from his car as he tries to break the ice on this issue and deal with it. It is no good. It is no good him just standing back and saying, well, you know, I'm going to wash my hands of this issue. Mr. Rudd, I don't want any harm to happen to Peter Spencer. I honestly don't. I do want him, if he could, to come down today. I really do. I just don't want harm to happen to this man. But if the power is within Mr. Rudd's office to start negotiations, to start doing something, anything, but he hasn't done anything. He hasn't offered anything from his office. And that is not good enough. That is an absolute sort of dereliction of the #1 duty, that your responsibility is not to the people of Copenhagen, it's not to the people of some massive conference, it's not to, fly the world stage as some sort of, grand, ambitious United Nations president. Your responsibilities are to this country and to the people of this country, and your responsibilities start with the people who put you in there, the working families. And I might remind you, Mr. Rudd, that families and farmers are working families. Support them.
But Mr. Rudd is a church-going man. Oh, he hides behind the word God.
This has been a reflection of those people who really are doing it tough. Farmers are not making money. It's been a tough run. It's been one of the worst droughts. And in the middle of that worst drought, we've had to deal with the screaming bank manager who says, in the midst of things, not only are you unable to pay your debt, but now your asset is not worth anything. Why? Because the government has been your greatest threat. Your government has become a greater threat than the drought. Your government has inspired itself onto the value of that asset and taken that value of that asset away from you. Mr. Rudd, that is not justice. You and your responsibility is to bring about laws that bring justice. And if there's no good hiding behind this issue of playing this political football, belting things between this building, down the street, back to this building, down the street to the High Court, that if it's not working, if you're not bringing justice, then your primary responsibility is to deal with that and to come in and show us that your fine acumen as a politician and as a diplomat and broker a deal. Not a deal for Mr. Robert Mugabe, or not a deal for Hugo Chavez, or not a deal for some other bozo sitting over in the middle of Africa. Broker a deal for your people, the Australian people, and start doing it today. In closing, I'd like to close by saying, Peter Spencer, you know that we're going to fight this issue right through. Peter, we need you to fight with us and not as a memory. We need you to be part of the fight with us. I really do need you. The best way for you to be a thorn under the saddle blanket of the Prime Minister and a thorn under the saddle blanket of all those amongst a whole range of people who have brought injustice is to be part of our fight, because this fight will be like the ETS. It will take time, but we will win. We will win if you good people stay committed to the cause. If you stay committed to the cause, if you stay committed to the blog sites, if you stay committed to talkback, if you stay committed to the letters, if you stay committed to one thing, that is, if you want an asset, if you are going to take an asset from me, you must pay for it. And if you can't afford it, you cannot have it.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, well then, let's be saying, it's interesting, isn't it, at the last by-election when they said, that the coalition would be annihilated. Remember, we're going to lose seats to the Greens. Isn't it surprising that the booths that moved back to our side of politics were the working families? The people who can understand the injustice, the people who saw how patently absurd the ETS was. Well, this is all a manifestation of that, that process, that culture of divesting people of an asset. And it's got to stop. In Australia, we must make the stand, and we are making the stand here today, and the stand will continue until we find that resolution that we will not inflict ourselves on the lives of the individual unnecessarily, to divest them, to lower the standard of living, to make them poorer. To make them poorer for what? For a belief of an international agreement. You can believe in all the international agreements you want, Kevin, but you just must pay the people who carry the cost. And that is what I ask of you.
Yes.
Finally, thank you very much for being here today. It is so impressive when people take money out of their pockets from the meagre money that they have, take time out of their day when they're so busy, and they come down here. You're all decent people. Look at you. You're decent, honest, hard-working Australians. I'm so proud of you. Thank you very much for your support. Good luck and God bless.